In today's video, we're going to be going over a question I got asked from GKR Customs. They said, I've been dropshipping on Mercari successfully, but would benefit from hiring a virtual assistant or two. They would post listings on a schedule and fulfill my orders and handle the majority of customer service. Have you gone through this phase of non-Shopify dropshipping? If so, could you explain the best way for me to go about hiring this type of VA? Thanks for reading, Josh. And by all means, if you guys ever have questions, I'm always happy to answer them. The entire point of this channel, I don't think, the only thing I'm ever going to potentially sell on this channel is my mentorship, my one-on-one mentorship coaching program. But aside from that, you guys know I've done all these videos for free. If you've been consistently watching them, if you ever have a question, I'd be more than happy to make a video answering your question for free, no charge, just because this is where I get my fulfillment in life from. So to answer that question, I haven't done any one-on-one fulfillment type of stuff with Mercari specifically. I know Overload does a great job with when you're doing drop shipping directly through Shopify. As for Mercari, this is slightly a rigged question. I want to say depending on the amount of money you're making, you may just want to go directly, like just not use Mercari. If you were making enough, my opinion, my perspective would be, if you're making enough on Mercari to where you want to automate it, I think you should be on Shopify. I honestly don't like Mercari because they don't listen to their customers in a sense. They're, which is the same reason Blockbuster went out of business and other companies are going out of business. People want to drop ship on there. People want to use it as a platform, and they're not allowing people, which is a huge business mistake, not listening to the demand. And we'll see how it goes for them. But they don't want people drop shipping on there. So until they start listening to you, which you're the customer, you're the one that's providing them revenue, 10% of your sales every time you sell something on there, that you want to drop ship on there. And I kind of get the reasoning, but I really don't. I think it's a total like ego type thing by people working there that, oh, they want this to be strict versus doing what the market says. That's why Amazon has such high success rate, because of their customer service. But my answer to you specifically would be, if you're making enough on Mercari drop shipping that you would need, or that you would want, like I'm presuming you're making, let's say $5,000 plus, because anything less than $5,000, I wouldn't see it's not that much work to outsource it. I wouldn't do a VR. I would like hire your buddy for $10 a day or something. You're paying $300 a month, but you're making $5,000, and let's say you net half of that, depending, maybe 36%. You're still making a couple grand, and then it would be a real business, not a self-employed solo entrepreneur thing. It'd be a business when they're working for you, your money and your employees are working for you, versus actually doing the work, which is a whole other concept. But if you're making more than $5,000, I would either start. I don't think Mercari is worth your time. So one, if you're selling $5,000 a month on there, you're giving $500 directly to Mercari no matter what, because they take 10% of your sale, right? So you're already out 20%. I want to say no. So you're already out 10% immediately right off the top by being on Mercari versus being on eBay. I want to say maybe it's 6%, potentially no fee at all. Amazon, I don't know Amazon's fees, whether you're doing FBA or just selling directly through Amazon. But with Shopify, I want to say it's maybe like 1 to 3%. But if you're doing those numbers, one, you have the capital to create your own. Like Mercari's not going to give you the chance to brand. You might be able to private label, but I would say move to a Shopify or something like Shopify, eBay. Mercari is such a, like, if you're doing more than 20K, there's no way I would even like Mercari would be a complete waste of time, because then they'd be taking $2,000 a month off the bat. That's $24,000 a year. That's $100K in 4 years. That's a joke. Like, to pay, they don't bring in that much traffic. They do a good job of bringing traffic, but not to the scale that it would be worth $100K in 4 years if you're doing $20K a month. On the other hand, let's say you're only doing 2 to 5K, or let's say if you're only doing a couple thousand, and you don't feel like doing the work, it's smart. I totally agree with the don't work for it, or have your money work for you, or have employees work for you. I totally agree with that standpoint. So I would say find a buddy or a sibling, or I don't know, not sure how old you are, but find somebody that'll do it for super cheap. It takes them 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour every day. Paying them $10 a day, you're out $300, but you're buying your time. You're going to net plenty on that, so not even worry about the $300 or $500 that you're going to spend on the employee itself. Yes, virtual assistant would be cheaper, but Mercari already as it is doesn't want you to drop ship. So trying to explain how to drop ship to somebody else, your account's probably gonna get flat. Like it's not worth it in my mind. The risk versus the reward it's not worth trying to set it up a business model with a VA versus just hiring somebody that you can trust, show them, still pay them fucking dirt, and get away with that at the end of the day. If that makes I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, just comment below and I'll answer that. I'll re-answer. I'll explain what I mean by it more so, but I think that should make sense. But the way you worded the question, post the listings on a schedule, I think you should just go to eBay or Amazon, dude. If you were doing Amazon FBA, you could have the inventory there. Amazon would hold the inventory. You could completely automate it, and then it's a way better system, way better traffic, way better option to dropship on Amazon versus Mercari's it's baby money, man. I know people that are doing 15K a week, 12K a week on Amazon versus I don't see, and I haven't seen them. I think I've done like 5 to 10K on Mercari some months, and it just wasn't worth the time putting back into it. Which is another person asked me a question, and they were like, "What? How is the passive?" And it's not very passive. It's quick money. Literally, if you know what to flip, if you're flipping the right stuff on there or whatever you're selling, if you know it's selling, if you have proof of concept, it's quick money. And I'm sure you'll agree with me on this. It sells. Like if it's selling, it'll continue to sell, and it's easy to scale on Mercari, but only to a small amount, a dollar amount, from what I've seen. And my closing remark question would be, why are you against doing either a Shopify store or possibly just shipping on eBay if you're not, or selling on Amazon if you're not, or other options out there? Even if it's not Shopify, even if you do a WordPress or a Wix or Weebly's e-commerce site and just sell on your own, like create your own brand for the long term versus making a couple grand a month for the short term. I like to say 4 mil is a lot cooler than 4K, $400, whatever. So when I do my sales pitches, so why aren't you on? Why are you on Mercari versus those other sites? You have a lot more potential long term versus just making a quick buck on Mercari short term. So that would be my perspective. I hope that answers your question. As always, if you need to get a hold of me, Instagram at @TheJoshAlbo, and leave a comment below. And I'd never asked for this, but since I answered your question, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing to my channel and clicking the bell, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Until next time.